Hello everyone, I am Subhashish Dash. This is a presentation prepared for the course of MCL 321 Automotive Systems. The topic I am here to discuss is anti-lock braking system. Often, when a driver must stop their car suddenly and quickly to avoid a collision, they will stomp hard on the brake pedal in a panicked attempt to prevent the collision. When they do this, brakes can lock the wheels, not only slowing them but holding them firmly in place. The wheels will lose traction with the road and simply slide. The driver will not be able to steer to avoid the obstacle as the tires cannot grip the road to turn the car. When this happens, cars can spin out of control and crash. We have just seen the above mentioned scenario. The solution to this is the ABS system. The ABS system or the anti-lock braking system is so designed that it prevents the car wheels from locking up during the braking. This has two major advantages. One, it will have a shorter stopping distance than when the wheels are locked up, and two, it will enable us to steer the vehicle so that we can avoid the obstacles. Let us have a look at the origin of this ABS system. In 1908, J.E. Francis introduced a slip prevention regulator for rail vehicles. In 1920, French automobile and aircraft pioneer Gabriel Voisin experimented with systems that modulated the hydraulic braking pressure on his aircraft brakes to reduce the risk of tire slippage. ABS remained primarily an aircraft technology until 1950s when it was applied to motorcycles. Since skidding and loss of traction presents a major safety risk to a motorcycle driver, this became a natural place to adopt the technology. In 1960s, automobile manufacturers began to experiment with ABS systems on passenger cars. The Ford Zodiac prototype featured one of the first viable ABS systems of this sort. The principle behind the ABS system is known as threshold braking. Maximum braking force is obtained when there is approximately 10 to 20% slippage between the braked wheel's rotational speed and the road surface. Peak friction occurs between the static and dynamic endpoints, and this is the point that the threshold braking tries to maintain. A slip rate of X% means that the velocity of the wheel is X% less than that of a freely rolling wheel at the same vehicle speed. How the ABS system actually achieves its functions. Let us look at the 5 major components of an anti-lock braking system. First, hydraulic braking assembly. Second, speed sensors. 3. Valves. Fourth, pump. Fifth, controller. Hydraulic braking assembly. A simple braking system consists of one master cylinder and 4 wheel cylinders. The master cylinder is operated via a foot pedal. The associated pressure is transmitted via an incompressible fluid in the pipelines, which in turn operates the individual wheel cylinders. Later on, we will see how the other components of the ABS system are used within this hydraulic braking assembly to achieve our desired result. Speed sensors. The anti-lock braking system needs some way of knowing when a wheel is about to lock up. The speed sensors, which are located at each wheel or in some cases in the differential, provide this information. Valves. There is a valve in the brake line of each brake controlled by the ABS. On some system, the valve has three positions. In position 1, the valve is open. Pressure from the master cylinder is passed right through to the brake. In position 2, the valve blocks the line, isolating that brake from the master cylinder. This prevents the pressure from rising further should the driver push the brake pedal farther. In position 3, the valve releases some of the pressure from the brake. Pump. Since the valve is able to release the pressure from the brakes, there has to be some way to put that pressure back. That is what the pump does. When a valve reduces the pressure in the line, if the pump is there to get the pressure back up, the controller will change the pump's status in order to produce the desired amount of pressure and reduce the sliding. Controller. The controller is actually the most important component of the ABS system. Essentially, it is a computer. It watches the speed sensors and controls the valve. When an individual wheel loses traction, a signal is sent to the controller. The controller will then limit the brake force and activate the ABS modulator. This is the schematic diagram of an ABS layout. It may be seen that from the initial simple hydraulic braking system which we have placed valves on the front left, front right and the rear axle braking lines. These valves are used to modulate the braking force via the ABS system and in turn helps us achieve the anti-lock braking action. This block diagram representation of an ABS system shows how the different components come together to act during an actual operation. The vehicle velocity sensor, the wheel velocity sensor and the tire rod interaction provides inputs to the control algorithm. This allows the ABS system to monitor the vehicle movements at any point in time and accordingly it feeds the output to the brake actuator valve and which further acts on the brake actuator. The ABS system primarily operates by preventing the wheels from locking up during the braking process. But how does it actually achieve this? To look at this, we will see what is known as modulation of braking pressure. The ABS achieves this modulation of braking pressure by a component called hydraulic modulator. The pump and the valve which we discussed in the previous components of the ABS comes together to form a part called the hydraulic modulator. Let us have a look at how it operates. When operating in normal condition, the outlet valve C of the hydraulic modulator is closed and the inlet valve A stays open until the pressure reaches the desired value. Then both the inlet and the outlet valves remain closed to hold this pressure and provide sufficient brake torque for the wheel brake cylinders. Once the control unit detects any excessive wheel slip, the corresponding outlet valve is opened to release the pressure to the accumulator D and prevent the possible wheel lockup. The excess brake fluid is returned to the master cylinder through the pump E. After the wheel slip returns to normal, the valve solenoids are de-energized and the hydraulic modulator resumes the braking process. Let us see how the ABS utilizes this modulation of braking pressure. Let us look at the basic operational algorithm of an ABS system. The controller monitors the speed sensor at all times. It is looking for decelerations in the wheel that are out of ordinary. Right before a wheel locks up, it will experience a rapid deceleration. If left unchecked, the wheel would stop much more quickly than any car could. It might take a car 5 seconds to stop from 60 miles per hour under the ideal conditions, but a wheel that locks up could stop spinning in less than a second. The ABS controller knows that such a rapid deceleration is impossible, so it reduces the pressure to that brake until it sees an acceleration. Then it increases the pressure until it sees the deceleration again. It can do this very quickly before the tires can actually significantly change speed. The result is that the tire slows down at the same rate as the car, with the brakes keeping the tires very near the point at which they will start to lock up. This gives the system maximum braking power. This entire process is achieved by the modulation of the hydraulic braking pressure with the help of the hydraulic modulator. The purpose of this operation is to keep the wheels running during the entire process the car is slowing down. When the ABS system is in operation, you will feel a pulsing in the brake pedal. This comes from the rapid opening and the closing of the valves. Some ABS systems can cycle up to 15 times per second. There are various implementation types of the ABS. 4-channel, 4-sensor ABS. This type of ABS uses a speed sensor and separate valves for each of the 4 wheels. Maximum braking force is achieved with this type. 3-channel, 3-sensor ABS. The front wheels each have a sensor and a valve. There is one valve and one sensor for both the rear wheels. With this system, it is possible that one of the rear wheels will lock during a stop, reducing the brake effectiveness. 1-channel, 1-sensor ABS, 1 valve and 1 speed sensor located on the rear axle monitors both the rear wheels. This type of ABS is commonly seen in pickup trucks. It may seem all is well and good with the ABS system, however, it also has certain disadvantages. In gravel, sand and deep snow, that is loose surfaces, ABS tends to increase the braking distance. On these surfaces, locked wheels dig in and stop the vehicles more quickly. ABS prevents this from occurring. Some ABS calibration reduce this problem by slowing the cycling time, thus letting the wheels repeatedly briefly lock and unlock. Some vehicle manufacturers provide an off-road button to turn the ABS function off. Further advancements have however been made to overcome the shortcomings of the ABS and make its application diversified for other purposes. One of these is the traction control system. Designed to prevent the loss of traction of driven road wheels, TCS is activated when the throttle input and engine torque are mismatched to road surface condition. Next, we have the electronic stability control. ESC detects the loss of steering control. It automatically applies the brakes to help steer the vehicle where the driver intends to go. Braking is automatically applied to the wheels individually, such as outer front wheel to counter oversteer or the inner rear wheel to counter understeer. That will be all for now for our discussion on the anti-lock brakes. Thank you very much for listening to this presentation and have a nice day.